What's happening, guys? Welcome back to Three Amigos Motorsports. I'm here at Old School Harley Davidson with Sean. It's been a while since we did a video, so we figured we'd drag him out and check out the new CVO. Been itching to get a look at one. So if you're in the market, make sure you come down to Old School and see Sean, and otherwise make sure you hit that subscribe button.
This one is available. There is no deposit on this bike. We just got it in, so it's on the floor, available, and first come, first serve. These are going to be very, very rare this year. CVOs always are, but for some reason they just continue to make that number lower and lower and lower. Can't order them anymore. Can only get them if they're shipped and at a dealer. So,
right. Well, a lot of changes. I don't know where to start. I mean,
it's almost entirely new. I mean, this color is one of two color options. This is the dark platinum. So this is going to have the black trim, the dark chrome finishes. The other color option is it's a two-tone called Whiskey Neat and Raven Black. That is a $6,000 color option. I haven't seen it in person yet, so truth be told, I couldn't tell you if it's worth $6,000 or not, but it is a gunslinger, hand-done paint job versus a factory paint job. So
the monotone of silvers and grays is sharp anyway.
This is just a sleek bike. I mean, everything about this bike screams performance, and I think they finally listened to everybody and went in the proper direction. I mean, it's not going to please everybody, but
no, they never do.
It's an entirely different bike. I mean, from the ground up. It's still a Milwaukee 8, but they've gone to a 121 cubic inch now, and they've incorporated the variable valve timing into it that they've got in the RevMax motors. So you've got now, just like the Pan America, the Sportster S, this has multiple ride modes. You'll see sport, road, and rain modes on this, and they are three very, very different modes.
It's nice. That's something I think they need to start seeing in all the models, because I think like all the manufacturers, like a few ride modes are starting to be a standard thing.
Yeah, and everybody's riding in different weather, and it's just, I mean, that's kind of the wave of technology now. Pretty much all the bikes are going that direction. So, but that's just one of them. I mean, they changed. It had to be hundreds of things on this bike.
No, they really did. Completely
redesigned the front fairing, tank, bags, side covers. The front fender you'll see is kind of familiar from the previous like ST models. It is a little different than that fender, but it is that short, sportier fender.
Yeah, I like the more trim fender.
Huge improvement on the suspension. You got a full inverted front end, radial mounted Brembo calipers now, and I can tell you from personal experience, the suspension handling and braking on this bike is insane, and it's unbelievable what a difference this is from previous CVOs.
Yeah, it's about time. I know people have been waiting for an inverted front end. It's nice to finally see that. I hope we'll start to see it translate down to other models.
I think we will, for sure. Yeah, that's another feature actually that Graham just pointed out is that's a coolant bottle that you see on the side there. So they've incorporated the liquid cooled heads that you previously only found on the limited models. And on those limited models, you found the radiators in those lower fairings. They've now made it so that the radiator is smaller and has a fan cooler behind that lower chin spoiler, so you can have a chopped engine guard, no lowers, and just that little small coolant bottle on the side.
That's pretty cool.
Kind of a neat feature on the Road Glide versus the Street Glide. The Road Glide CVO has that full length chin spoiler.
Yeah.
That coolant bottle is hidden behind it.
Yeah,
on the Road
tucks
Glide.
It away nice.
So that's kind of cool.
I really like the front. I know they got the integrated turn signals now, and
yeah, that was their whole, they're very proud of that. That's their whole kind of eagle wing design. And one thing that in all the advertisements, one of the things they pointed out was how distinctive this bike is from a distance. And they did that literally with just lighting, which I think is actually kind of cool. Once people recognize this new styling of the lights on these bikes, you could see this coming at you in the pitch dark and know exactly what it is just by the lighting. You've got integrated turn signals right into the fairing now, which gets rid of the bullets on the sides. Very sleek.
I think it's sleek, but it's still got a general batwing shape, so it's not too far away from.
Yeah, they didn't go too far away from it. They modernized it. I mean, it's something they've needed to do for a while. The timing was perfect, where the market is kind of in demand for something new. Everybody seems to be kind of getting bored with what's out there, and this is just the start of, I think, the future for Harley Davidson. I mean, I think they're going in a great direction. You're going to see a lot of changes coming up on all the models.
Hopefully. So I know a big deal on the other side here is the big infotainment system. I haven't really seen it fired up yet.
Major difference. One of the cool things is all the different screen layouts. So it's a 12.3-inch TFT display. So it's going to give you that nice bright resolution on the screen, right in direct sunlight. You've got a matte finish screen on there, so you're not going to get a lot of gloss reflections and things, which even on the previous models, a lot of people complained about.
Yeah, my Road Glide even is hard to see sometimes in the sun.
So some of the cool things you can do with this is that being that it's all digital, you have no analog gauges on here, you have different layouts. So this would be what they call a cruise mode. So this is going to show you your speedo on the left, both in analog and digital readout, your tach on the right, and then you've got your voltmeter here and your gas gauge here. The center can be changed to show you a few different things. Right now it's on navigation. If you have your phone Bluetooth to it, you can also show all your song information in the center. Now if you go to your menu on this bike, which is, everyone's still kind of learning, we go to our settings, we go to display. If you go to layout, I can change from cruise. If I go to my sport mode, now sport mode is going to show me, I can change these 4 spots to hold 4 different pieces of information of whatever I choose, and you're going to have a combined speedo tach. So your tach on the analog on the outside, speedo in the center, gas gauge, voltmeter, and nothing else around it.
That's cool.
So that's kind of just your sport mode. Your next mode would be your tour mode. That's going to change everything to where you got very simplistic information on the left and then essentially full screen navigation. So if you're on the highway and realistically your speed is the only thing you're concerned with, that's going to show your gas gauge, your speed, your gear position down here, and then it'll have a full screen navigation. So it's kind of nice to have all these different layouts on there.
Yeah, it looks like they gave a lot of thought too about what belongs with what.
Right. And the fact that you can customize each one. So even the way they're set up, it's not stuck just that way. You can customize what else is shown on the screen. I like that they made the gear position sensor on this bike more notable. It was always on any bike, but it was always very small, and it was inside of just like the odometer. They've now made it very prominent on the screen, so you get the big green end for your neutral. It's very easy to see, as well as when you're moving, you're going to see that change a lot more prominent in your face.
I mean, down to even details that keep going. I mean, I like even that there's a new gas cap here. I was never a fan of the door on the...
yeah, that's brilliant. And even previous models in a special, they went to the sleek center console with the gas cap on the high side, which is better. But what's better than not even having to worry about losing your gas cap?
Yeah, no, that's nice.
This is always sealed, and you can do it either way. A lot of people think you have to lift the handle up. You can actually just push down and it'll click down. A lot of people prefer to do that because it's that kind of satisfaction sound of knowing that it actually closed. So that's brilliant. That's something that they've done on the Pan America and the Sportster S, and I think they should have done a long time ago on the touring bikes. They finally did.
Where's the phone go?
That's another great feature. Good thing that you brought that up. Huge complaint on previous model Street Glide specifically was that you just had the little door on the fairing, and basically if you didn't have a flip phone or a little pocket, iPhone 3, you weren't going to fit anything in there, especially with the cord. Now you've got an entire tray that you could essentially fit an iPad mini into.
No. You fit 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 5 tacos.
Oh yeah, it's deep enough too. You can definitely get some tacos in there. It is USB-C, so that's becoming the universal cord for just about anything. If you look at almost any company's phone chargers, whether it's Android or Apple, everybody's going to that universal USB-C. Plenty of room in here, and it's a quick charger too, so it's like a 5 amp charger. That's nice. Yeah, that's a pretty good sized phone.
Nice.
And it's got the kind of the rubber bottom, so you don't have to worry about the stuff really sliding around too much in there.
I see all new hand controls. They look a little more symmetrical.
That's
and
something that we're still learning quite a bit about, because they changed it so much that it's a little on the confusing side. So some will call that a downside. I think it's just going to be an adjustment for us to learn where everything is. I think they incorporated everything that you want to be on your hand controls. And like you said, it's a little bit more symmetrical. I like that they went with the gloss black housings. It just, everything looks smooth. And all the buttons are in reachable places and allow you to do more with your hand controls. Now this still is a full touchscreen, so you have no buttons up here at all. It's a full touchscreen, but you have full control of everything that you can do on the screen on your hand controls.
Like you say, it's reachable. Like they look big, but
everything's within thumb's reach.
Yeah.
They moved the starter switch onto the top, so this is your run switch and your start up here. A lot of people say they wish they did this with the Pan America instead of having the one that's way up top. This is still reachable by your thumb. So you might see this become more universal also on the Sportster S. The Pan America might be more of a universal kind of housing. They did switch your mouse control and your volume from side to side. So anybody that's had a previous model touring bike that's used to your volume and song control on the left, it's now on the right.
That'll take a little while to get used to.
So that's the one thing that's going to take everybody, I think, the longest to get used to. But all your other familiarities, your turn signals are still self-canceling, one on either side. Your horn's still where it's supposed to be. Your start button's still on the right. But you do still have more of a control of your modes and all those things within thumb's reach.
Graham's just eyeing the Rockford Fosgates.
And this being a CVO, of course, it incorporates the Rockford Stage 3 audio. So you're going to have their highest end audio front. And new for the rear, they're now 6x9 speakers in these much larger saddlebags, which you can also notice just from that top view. Massive speakers, massive amount of space in the bags too. Although they're shorter and they seem like they look smaller on the outside of the bike, they've increased the volume tremendously.
Yeah, they curve out a bit, it looks like.
You can almost fit a 3/4 helmet in one of these. It's tight. You can almost get it in there. So a lot of space in the bags. Still the familiar, single touch latch like previous models, but they've reshaped them. They've added some body lines into the sides. And one of the things that I absolutely love the style of is they did this rear chop cut, which
like
you've
that.
already seen a lot of the stunt guys doing with chop fenders and the chop rear bag cut. I think the styling cue on that is spot on. It's just kind of the modern direction everybody's taking these touring bikes.
I think the sleek tail light and signals all in one definitely matches the front with more modern look. No bullet turn signals or anything.
Yep, some more body color in there too. Even right over the license plate where the license plate light is, they added some body color there. So everything really kind of smooths together. You got a brand new design seat on there as well. This has got a full gel core as well as the kind of the gripper panel on top here. They still incorporate the high-end materials, the Alcantara suede around the edges. This material is going to feel familiar to anybody that's seen like a Fat Bob seat.
Yeah.
Previous, kind of that gripper material, and it's a full gel core rider and passenger. Reshaped seat, so it's going to give you more of that kind of step-up design, so to speak. So you got more lumbar support for the rider. Wider for the passenger, but sloped in all directions so that it keeps that slim profile.
So we talked front suspension. What about rear suspension? Any changes?
Rear suspension is also tremendously changed. So one of the things that everybody complained about on previous model tour bikes was the uneven rear suspension, so to speak. So you had basically a larger left shock,
right,
and then you had your helper shock on the right side, which is a lot smaller, tighter coil, and then you had one adjuster. They weren't linked together, so it was essentially two different types of suspension working together. To modernize this and better suit touring riding and as well as sporty riding, they're same size rear shocks now. They're both larger than previous. Same size coils. They're gas emulsion shocks, and you'll see if you look right down here in front of the bag, they've moved your suspension preload adjustment. Instead of it being behind your saddlebag, it's now external, so you don't have to take any saddlebags off to adjust your suspension.
I mean, the real question is if Harley made it good enough to where you don't still want to spend $800 on your Legends, your Olands, or something, but
if
step
any
in the right direction.
If any of the viewers and fans of Three Amigos are anything like any of us, no one will ever leave it alone because we can't. That's just within our nature. Do you have to? No, actually. The suspension on this bike factory is phenomenal. Cornering ability on this bike for a bike of this size and weight is almost nonsensical. I mean, I was giggling like a little kid, just about afraid I'm scraping the floorboards because it's just so easy to corner. It feels so light on its feet. Another thing they did with this bike was they chopped a lot of weight out of it. To me, in the rides that I've taken on this bike, it feels like they took almost all of the 35-pound weight reduction out of the front end. This is the lightest feeling front end Street Glide, batwing fairing bike I have ever ridden.
I wonder where they got it from. I mean, lighter wheel, it seems, with the spoked and cast wheel.
A lot of aluminum parts. You'll see billet aluminum triple trees in the front, so that was a big weight savings in the front. Weight savings in the inverted front end. They shaved like 6 pounds out of that front end on just the fork tubes alone. But it's 35 pounds overall on the Street Glide and 37 pounds on the Road Glide.
That's pretty good. So I'm really curious to see a CVO Road Glide in person. I've seen a couple of these. Any idea when you're getting a CVO?
We do have one coming in, and you guys have the inside scoop. It's also doesn't have a deposit. It was an ordered bike. It's a Road Glide in the Whiskey Neat and Raven Black two-tone.
Oh, that'd be cool.
It was ordered for a customer that essentially ended up changing their mind, so that is a bike that will also be available. as far as I know, is the only one that will be available in New England anytime in the next 6 months.
Nice.
Because you had to have ordered one to get one. They're not shipping that color to dealers as regular inventory bikes. And the order window was only open for like 10 days, so nobody really got a chance to put any orders in for them.
I'm sure it'll still go quick, people with too much money.
I'll make sure I let you guys know as soon as that comes in.
We'll have to come
Hopefully
check it
we
out
get that
so
on the
everybody
channel.
can see it.
I'm very curious to see that color. I mean, on pictures, we know the pictures never do it any justice.
Right.
But I think that's going to be a great color. They did a great combination of how they, kind of the same lines that you see the pinstriping on this bike is kind of how they broke up the two-tone on that Road Glide. So I think it's going to be nice.
I'm just curious overall to see where this generation of changes winds up. Hopefully in January, maybe we start to see the model release where all this technology and new stuff trickles down to the other models, because CVO is too rich for my blood, but they made a nice limited with all this stuff, you know, you never know.
I think that's my prediction, just as long as I've been doing this and knowing Harley Davidson's kind of their MO, how they do things. I think we may find out as soon as January that there's going to be a lot of changes to a lot of the upcoming bikes, maybe not even just the tour bikes.
Yeah, because I can't imagine they're going to keep two, you know, engine platforms and, you know, two fairings and everything for
bags, tanks.
Right.
I mean, this is the first time also, we didn't even mention the body lines in the tank. In all the years I've been around Harley Davidson's, they've never had any kind of stylized body lines in the tank. Reshaped the entire tank, just everything, the way that it goes together with the side covers and everything, all the lines have been reshaped on these. So
yeah, it's almost like they almost did a throwback shape to the side covers, like a lot of guys running the FXR side covers.
Well, and you can see the way they did that, which unless you look close, is this bottom section they just did like a black ABS plastic.
Yeah,
so it's still the same one-piece color, but being that they broke it up into that body color on top, it makes that side cover look a lot smaller, like the FXR cover. So
yeah,
phenomenal bike. As far as sound, we can start it.
Yeah, let's start it up.
This thing to me sounds more like a twin cam. A little bit tighter, kind of poppier for have to do with the variable valve timing. 121 cubic inches, pushing some serious power through these. 4.5-inch mufflers stock now. The previous 4-inch, the first time Harley's ever done 4.5-inch stock mufflers, and they're a lot more free flowing than any previous exhaust system also. So.
All right. Yeah, it'd be nice to see when someone's. I know exhausts are coming out quick because, you know, everybody changes their exhaust.
I can't wait to hear this thing with an exhaust on it.
Yeah.
It's got to sound fantastic.
I think D&D's got theirs out, right? Is that what we were saying earlier? That'd be cool to see that.
It's got a heck of a rumble for just, I mean, even just having stock exhaust. You get it revs through the gears super fast, and it sounds great even with stock exhaust. So, very impressive bike. Definitely worth a ride. It's very different than anything any of us have known so far. So,
well, I'd take it, but it's got the wrong fairing on it. So, but if you guys are interested, again, make sure you come see Sean down at Old School. And if you have any questions, leave a comment. We try to answer all our comments. And we forget anything?
No, that's pretty much it. Like I said, you got to ride it to believe it. You really got to see it in person. It's a phenomenal bike. Come down, take it for a ride, see if we can put it in your garage.
Yeah, don't tell your wife, don't ask questions. Just buy the bike and make sure you hit the subscribe button.